You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Kirk Mona, and joining me are Rachel Gimza and Victoria Thompson. We're all naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders, just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Good to see you guys again, as always.
So good to see you too, Victoria.
Good to see you, everybody.
All right, I am starting us off this week, and I want to start. My topic is not sunlight, but sunlight is this fascinating kind of double-edged sword in our lives and the lives of most creatures. Obviously, it's the basis of most life on Earth, and yet as very pale people like Rachel and myself can attest,
I can be in the sun for 5 minutes and burn.
Yeah. I think you have it even worse than I do.
I don't know what it is. I just... I love sunscreen. Sunscreen is great.
I like hats. Yeah, anyway... Yeah, ultraviolet radiation, it can cause a great deal of harm. Mm-hmm. And we humans obviously have built-in sunlight detectors, otherwise known as our eyes. Mm-hmm. Pretty obvious, right? But,
helpful.
There are animals that, while they don't have vision in the same way that we do, have like eye spots that are rudimentary. They can't see sharp images. They can distinguish between light and dark, lets them go toward the light or away from the light, whichever suits their lifestyle. So like jellyfish, sea stars, they have these ocelli. And there's obviously like, we can feel heat as kind of a proxy for sunlight as well. Mm-hmm. There are other ways of sensing light that are not seeing.
Okay.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, all right. I'm intrigued. Continue.
Do tell.
Okay, think about plants, for example.
Oh, sure. I wasn't even thinking of plants, but that makes perfect sense.
We're so animal focused. We're plants.
I'm actually not talking about plants today. I'm talking about an animal. But even in animals, there are non-eye ways of sensing light. Okay. And these are actually pretty well studied at this point. There's a group of proteins called opsins.
Oh, sure. I've heard of that.
Yeah, so they're found largely in the skin and the nervous system. And they function by, they literally change shape in the presence of light. So that can then signal the cell to do various things that it's going to do.
That's awesome.
Things changing shape is a common thing in nature for like how things function,
Yeah, it very much is. But these opsins are actually what is behind many of our body functions that are tied to circadian rhythms. So alertness, sleep-wake cycles, body temperature, those are all not having to do with so much the light that is coming in through your eye and going onto your retina as these opsins that are other places in your body.
Interesting, yeah.
Even actually, this was fascinating to me, even the dilation of your pupils is not controlled by like your vision system. So even in blind, people that are totally blind since birth, pupil size varies with the ambient light.
Okay.
And so it's not controlled by the visual system. There are opsins in the eye that don't have to do with vision, but they control how big your pupil gets.
Really strange and really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are really cool. There is some research I want to talk about today that involves an animal, though, that has no eyes, no eye spots,
no
opsins.
Okay.
And yet is still somehow able to detect the color blue.
Hold on.
Oh, this is awesome. Okay, I have
so
no idea what you're talking about, but I already love
Specifically
it.
the color blue.
Specifically the color blue.
I have questions, but I know you're going
I
to tell
have
us, so I'm going to withhold them.
many questions. Oh my God, continue.
Any guesses as to which group of animals this creature belongs to?
I would go like an annelid or a worm or something like that. Like something in like the dirt, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go something in the water.
Well, Rachel, you win today's prize.
Oh,
Yes!
no.
Of being right.
Yes.
You're
Pulled
spot
out
on.
the word annelid out.
It's not an annelid. It is a nematode.
I was trying to play the odds of going for the water. It covers most of the earth. So.
You played the odds and lost.
I can see as blue light filters down pretty far through the ocean. So like I could see how that might be a good color to be able to detect if you're underwater.
Yeah.
So.
Your reasoning was sound.
Why would a
But I was wrong.
need to see the color blue?
Well, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, that's what that's what I want to know.
So
okay, keep
this particular nematode is bear with me here. Caenorhabditis elegans, otherwise known as C. elegans.
Of course.
Which is a very well-known nematode roundworm.
Okay.
Well known to its friends, apparently.
Well known to its friends. It's actually it's a model used as a model organism in a lot of scientific research. There is a ton of stuff known about this model, about this animal, and has been researched about it.
That's really cool.
Yeah. They are quite tiny. They're about 1 millimeter long. They're transparent.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very small. They live in the soil, as you suggested, Rachel. They eat bacteria that decompose organic matter. So they're predators of a sort.
God, a predator with no eyesight is such a wild concept. I mean, I know they exist. It just...
Does the bacteria that decompose, is that turning blue?
Is there bioluminescence?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Is there a chemical process of it?
We'll get there.
Okay. No, we're just trying to guess.
I'm leaping
We're so
forward.
curious. We're just trying to jump to it.
Many of these lab strains have, in fact, been found in compost piles, just as a side note.
Okay.
That are now used in research. But anyway, as I mentioned, they have no opsons, no sort of visual system. They are, however, known to avoid light. And it's been shown in experiments that C. elegans exposed to light have a shorter lifespan. Even not super high energy light.
That's
interesting.
Yeah,
and
real interesting.
There's relatively recent research that there's a gene that's a chemoreceptor. So you could think of it as a smell gene, senses chemicals in the environment.
Sure.
That in this worm also seems to work as a photoreceptor, a light receptor. So it makes sense that these worms would have evolved to avoid light because their transparent bodies make them especially vulnerable to UV damage.
Isn't it interesting that both Rach and I instantly went to, why would they be attracted to blue light?
Exactly.
And it's the exact opposite.
What? No, why could they see only blue light? That's my big thing. That's a great...
But I was trying to think of things they would be trying to find that were, say, blue or something, because that's sort of our bias is that's what our eyes are for.
You were actually going in the right direction. So that's all up to now is all background to what I'm actually talking about. So a few years ago, some researchers at Yale and MIT took this further because light is not the only thing that C. elegans wants to avoid. Some soil bacteria produce nasty toxins that the worm does not want to be around.
Sure.
Okay.
In particular, there's a bacteria called Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and it grows in mats that have a bright blue pigment called pyocyanin.
Yeah.
Cool.
And when C. elegans is placed on a patch of this bacteria, Pseudomonas, it moves away quickly. It squirms off.
Huh.
The researchers showed first that the worm was much slower to flee these nasty bacteria when it was dark in the lab versus when the lights were on.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you would think they would like chemically detect this nasty toxin, but
Yeah.
Right.
that wouldn't make a difference if the lights were on. So there's something going on with the lights being on. So then what they did was they put the worms on some Pseudomonas that was mutated to be beige rather than blue, but still has the toxin. And with this mutant bacteria, they moved away at the same speed, whether it was light or dark in the lab.
Huh.
So like they didn't squirm away
that is-
faster with the light
Okay.
on, because with the beige
Yeah,
bacteria,
yeah.
they were just moving off slowly.
That's wild.
Then they took some E. coli bacteria, which are a favorite food of C. elegans, and they
Ooh.
dyed it with this toxic pigment, pyocyanin.
Oh.
So
That's
the
not nice.
the same color of blue as the Pseudomonas. All right. So we got the
Okay.
yummy bacteria, but they're dyed blue. Okay.
All right.
And you put the worm on top of it, and the worm again like goes more quickly when the lights are on, away from the blue bacteria.
That
than
is
when
so
it's dark
wild.
out.
Huh.
So they're seeing the blue.
They're seeing the blue somehow.
With no eyeballs. No eyes
But
of
how?
any kind.
And they also established, just like a sort of supporting evidence here, they established that the worms do flee the toxic stuff. They just do it more quickly with the lights on and the blue color present.
Yeah.
I mean, makes sense.
Mhm.
If they can see it and they get like blue, I guess, light reflecting a little bit easier. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, you need light to see light. I mean, that's
Yeah, you need the light to see that.
Yeah.
that's the thing about light. In order to see it, it has to be present.
Right.
It's an annoying little thing about light.
You know, that's fair. I
Which
walked
raises
into
the
that
question, do colors exist if there's no light?
one. Kirk, we're
Oh.
not doing this. We're not.
Stay focused. Stay focused.
Victoria and I are too tired to get into that
Yeah.
philosophical debate on whether or not colors exist in the absence of light.
Okay.
I would argue that pigments.
No, you're going into it.
technically
You're
do.
going into it, see?
No, pigments exist, so thus color exists.
Do
Victoria,
pigments have color?
get us back on.
Okay.
Yes, Victoria, go.
I'm going to wrench this ship back onto course.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, so they also found that some strains of the worm had this apparent ability to sense blue, and some did not.
Oh, okay.
So there's some genetic variation. They were able to find 2 genes that were associated with the worm's ability to detect blue light. JKK1 and LEC3. That's the way genes are named in weird names, weird ways. There are corresponding genes in mammals that have been linked in past research to how cells respond to stressors, including UV light. But basically, this is a big mystery. We have the information that these genes may be somehow linked. We don't know how they do it. We don't know how it works. All we know is that these worms can see blue without any known mechanism.
That's so cool. I
Great.
love it.
I love it. It's such a big question. I can't wait for more research.
Yeah.
Like, but how?
Yeah.
Right.
Are they tasting it? Are they smelling it? Are like clearly like
smell
with the
blue?
light? Well, I don't know. Are they?
Well,
But
clearly
with
turning the
light
lights off
on
does
and
not
light
affect
off
your
thing
smell
is like
usually.
it doesn't
So.
affect exactly. So it's like, well then how?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's super
exactly. How?
Cool. You got to. We'll do a follow up in 5 years.
Yes, my main source for this, my initial source that I learned about this from was a New York Times article from March of 2021, and it was based on a paper that had just come out in Science. The authors were Deepan Ghosh and colleagues. C. elegans discriminates colors to guide foraging. Now, when I saw this was published in 2021, I was like, oh, is there any follow-up research? I couldn't
Right.
find any. So, Unfortunately, I was not able to wait. Was I don't think I was able to read this paper. I can't remember. Anyway, there were a couple other. No, I think I was. But then there were a couple other papers with research that I mentioned. There's one from Nature Communications from 2018. Visible light reduces C. elegans longevity. And then an article about seeing without eyes from Scientific American and the Conversation from August of 2017 that gave me background information about opsins and all that other stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
That's what I got. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be Kirk.
Hey everyone, we are back, and you know who's probably listening to this show right now?
So many people. My brother.
I hope it's more than just your brother, but yeah.
Our friend Brett, friend of the show, Brett.
Yes, but I'm specifically referring this time to our newest patron, Prairie Cass.
Yeah. Yay, thank you.
Thanks for signing up. This one came through just after we recorded the last show where I said some of the new patrons we had. It's a fun thing. They're all now getting ad-free episodes. So they did not just listen to those ads that you guys did. If you wanted to have ad-free episodes too, go over to patreon.com/strangebynature. Okay, here is what I am talking about this week. My topic comes to me at the suggestion of my amazing wife, who realized that we somehow have not talked about a rather bizarre animal, sometimes known as fugu in Japanese, but in English, usually called the pufferfish.
Yay!
We didn't talk about pufferfish?
Have we not talked about pufferfish? Just today at work, Rachel, I was talking to you and I said, I'm going to talk about an animal tonight that is going to be shocking that we have not talked about. Is the pufferfish.
We've not talked about pufferfish?
Which is wild. So it turns out there are almost 200 species of pufferfish in the world. These are a marine fish that are famous for their defensive capabilities. When threatened, these spike-covered fish can actually inflate or puff up into a spiky ball that hopefully makes them less desirable to eat. And the spikes are not venomous or poisonous, but they also kind of are. So one of the other things about pufferfish...
How can they be venomous and poisonous but not?
I'm getting there. So one of the other things to know about pufferfish is that they contain a potent neurotoxin. And I said the spines aren't venomous, and that's true.
Right.
But the toxin can be in their skin. So if the spine pierces your skin, the neurotoxin on their skin can just sort of like incidentally get into your body, but it's not being injected or anything like that. So
it's just kind of there.
Yeah, they're like they're toxic. They're a toxic fish.
Okay.
So this toxin is found on their skin, in their internal organs, such as their livers, even in their blood, which is why it seems crazy that people like to eat them. Fugu, as the fish is known in Japan, is a delicacy, and it's also becoming more popular in places such as Korea and China. Apparently, it tastes really nice, but there's certainly, I think, also like a thrill-seeking aspect to eating the fish, since it's
for sure.
It's so dangerous. There are strict laws on how and who can prepare fugu for consumption in Japan. Chefs actually has to go through a either 2 or 3 year certification program to show that they can safely prepare the fish. I found one statistic that said that 65% of the chef applicants each year fail the exam and are not allowed to prepare the dish. And keep in mind, that is after studying and apprenticing for many years.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Extremely strict. Extremely strict.
I like how strict they are, but at the same time, now I'm nervous about...
Only 35% of the people pass the exam on the first try. So it's pretty wild. And, think about it. When lives are on the line, you do definitely want to take this very seriously. Most years, at least one person dies in Japan, usually from like a home cook mispreparing the dish. And some years it's 0, some years it's 5, but it's going to vary. But most years it's at least 1, which is pretty wild. This toxin is no joke.
To do it.
No, and you shouldn't. I mentioned how the internal organs can be one of the biggest sources of toxin. Apparently, the liver is super tasty, though, and used to be served in Japan as a dish known as Fugu kimo. But it was so dangerous to prepare that the government actually banned restaurants from serving the dish in 1984.
How
there's
can
so
you
many
even?
accidents.
I thought like
I don't
get it.
understand. I don't understand
nope.
how, like,
It's a liver. It literally filters the toxins and things from the body.
I think it's like loaded with the toxins, so I don't know how you would ever eat it. Very confusing.
Yeah, that's.
I did not do a deep
Huh.
dive on that. The toxin found in pufferfish, though, is called tetrodotoxin or tetrodotoxin.
I think we've talked
And
about
I
it on the
think,
show.
yeah,
Definitely talked
we've
about
definitely
it.
talked about it on the show before. It can also be found in ribbon worms, several species of sea stars, angelfish, blue-ringed octopuses, moon snails, some crabs, eastern and Pacific newts. I think maybe it was the newts we mentioned on the show before.
There's
There's
blue-ringed
really,
octopus for sure.
and the octopus,
Definitely
yeah.
them.
There's a really interesting thing where garter
I think I
snakes in
talked about it
California.
somewhere.
Yeah. Garter snakes in California have adapted to be able to eat the newts that are there and not be affected by the toxin, but then it in turn bioaccumulates in the snake body and makes the snake poisonous. So that actually ties back in with Rachel's story a few weeks back about a snake that is both venomous and poisonous. In this case, the snake is not venomous, but they are poisonous because of what they eat, which is pretty cool.
That's
So,
fun.
Weirdly, this is like, and Victoria, when you were telling your story, I was like, you gotta be kidding me when you brought this up. There is another place where tetrodotoxin shows up, and that is in bacteria. There's a number of bacteria that produce this toxin, including the very common Pseudomonas bacterium,
Oh my gosh.
which you literally just talked about in your segment. You started talking about
That's
Pseudomonas,
wild.
and I'm like, wait, what? So that's pretty wild. So tetrodotoxin, or TTX, a little easier to say. This stuff is nasty. It is more poisonous.
It is not nice.
More
Yep, real
poisonous
bad.
than cyanide. To give you a comparison, the LD50, which is the dose at which 50% of the subjects would die ingesting that much, the LD50 for cyanide, this is in mice. They did not test this on humans. The LD50 for cyanide in mice is 8,500 micrograms per kilogram. The LD50 for TTX in mice is just 334 micrograms per kilogram. And of course, keep in mind, you don't have a kilogram mouse. They're smaller than that. So this is an extremely small amount is toxic. And keep in mind, that is oral toxicity. Like if you ate it, if injected, it takes just
You're so dead.
8 micrograms per kilogram to kill half of the mice at that level. So this stuff is nasty. The toxin causes paralysis of the diaphragm and thus respiratory failure. That's like the big headline banner of what's going on. But I'm going to read you the full list of symptoms from the Wikipedia entry because it's really well laid out.
Not good.
Here, strap in. Here is the full list. I'm quoting here now. First off, having pins and needles of the lips and tongue is followed by developing it in the extremities, hypersalivation, sweating, headache, weakness, lethargy, incoordination, tremor, paralysis, bluish skin, loss of voice, difficulty swallowing, and seizures. The gastrointestinal symptoms are often severe and include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. There's increasing respiratory distress, speech is affected, and the victim usually exhibits shortness of breath, excess pupil dilation, and abnormally low blood pressure. Paralysis increases and convulsions, mental impairment, and irregular heartbeats may occur. The victim, although completely paralyzed, may still be conscious, and in some cases completely understandable until shortly before death, which generally occurs within 4 to 6 hours.
Well, that's extremely nasty.
Horrifying. I was trying to find if I could way to summarize that, and I'm like, nope, you guys are just getting the whole
You get a
thing
list.
there. That is a nasty toxin. So
It's so bad.
one of the things I found really interesting, doing a bit of a dive on the pufferfish, but perhaps not that surprising because we've seen this before, is how these fish produce so much toxin. And the answer seems to be they don't.
Is it bacteria?
Yeah, they're not the ones producing it. So this seemed odd to researchers that the same toxin was present in so many unrelated species and, Victoria, also in bacteria. And so we now believe that bacteria are actually the likely source of the toxin, even when it's found in animals. And one super clear example of this is that if you have pufferfish in captivity and carefully feed them a TTX-free diet, they actually lose their toxin. If you then reintroduce TTX to their diet, you find that they again become toxic. And this knowledge has actually been used to start to farm fugu that is safer to eat as they're kept away from TTX bacteria sources. So there are now some restaurants that are serving fugu, but it's like, yeah, but I mean, they're not toxic. So people are getting that thrill of like, ooh, we're eating it, but it's also like, it might as well be, tilapia or something. So,
hopefully it tastes better than tilapia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
I don't know. As you famously know, I do not eat fish. So not all is bad when it comes to TTX. It's being tested actually as a pain reliever for cancer patients. So that's pretty interesting, and time will tell if that plays out. I think you'd want to be pretty careful on the dosing, don't you think?
Yeah. Sort of reminds me of how Botox is like huge, and you're like, that's a horrible, deadly toxin.
Botulism. Yeah.
Right.
Now, before I finish up, I would be remiss in my telling of this tale if I didn't point out that my wife didn't actually suggest I talk about pufferfish directly. She actually suggested I talk about dolphins. And more specifically, dolphins using pufferfish to get high.
Oh my God, dolphins are amazing.
Yeah.
This has been getting around every few years. This kind of comes back up in social media and whatnot. There was a video that first started making the rounds back in 2013, and it does seem that it sometimes resurfaces, and that's how my wife saw it. It seems to show dolphins like basically passing around a pufferfish and then like acting stoned afterwards.
I think I've seen this.
Could be. Even Smithsonian Magazine wrote about this and unironically quoted the Daily Mail as their source.
Okay.
For those of you not familiar with the Mail or not from the UK, the Daily Mail is a tabloid newspaper. They aren't the worst of the tabloids. It isn't like quoting the Sun, or here in the US, like quoting the Weekly World News or the National Enquirer, but they are
That's
really
pretty bad.
The solid source you want to go to for well-researched science news. They've been accused of being not too interested in fact-checking if it gets in the way of an entertaining story. So I really can't believe that Smithsonian used them as a source for this. There was also a really good discussion about this on the Skeptics Stack Exchange, looking at who this claim came from. And it was basically based on comments by a non-scientist who worked on a BBC Nature documentary about dolphins. They had basically observed this behavior and sort of presumed what was going on. And the truth is that TTX would make a terrible recreational drug, what with the stopping of breathing and dying and the no real nice side effects to speak of. And so the behavior that people thought was the dolphins basically being stoned was likely doing them something called logging, which is a really common behavior in dolphins where they just chill out at the surface of the water and rest. So while the idea of dolphins passing a pufferfish around to get high is funny, there really isn't any good evidence for it. Dolphins like to play with stuff. That's what we have evidence of.
There's no real nice way to say this. They're a little sadist.
Yeah. They'll definitely take other animals and throw them around for fun. So that's probably what was going on. I just wanted to clarify and set the record straight before we move on, to our next topic, which will be you, Rachel. But pretty fun. Pufferfish, even if dolphins are not getting high off them, are fascinating animals.
They are.
And I will say a lot of this week's episode was just stuff sort of I know as a naturalist, or the sources I cited during the actual story. But I want to credit where credit is due and cite Wikipedia also as a source for some of my statistics in this week's episode.
Thanks, Kirk.
Absolutely. Puffer fish away. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be Rachel.
All right, so I told y'all I have a doozy for you, and okay. So in Russia in 1978, we're going to join particle physicist Anatoly Petrovich Vygotsky. Okay?
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right. At this particular time in 1978, it is July 13th. As a particle physicist, he is working at the Institute for High Energy Physics in Russia. Oh, Kirk,
dear.
do you know about this?
Oh, God.
I don't know, but I can guess.
Yeah, go on.
Well, he is working on the largest particle accelerator in Russia.
I don't like this.
Now, you really, really shouldn't. So he's working on the largest particle accelerator. Now, on July 13th, the particle accelerator was having some issues. They had done all the proper shutdowns and had put everything where it should go, right? But there was something wrong.
Something was wrong, yeah.
And something was just off. So Anthony, apparently he's Italian now. He was checking it out. He was doing his job, and he was inspecting a piece of equipment that apparently was malfunctioning. However, that piece of equipment related to, as he was inspecting it, he had to stick his head kind of in the particle accelerator to look at it, to look at the mechanism. And unfortunately, some safety mechanisms also
were not working.
Failed.
Yeah.
So when he leaned in to take a good look, a proton beam of the particle accelerator shot through the back of his head at close to the speed of light.
Yep, sure did. Stuck his head right in the beam.
Yes, he did. And this all comes from him. He didn't feel pain at first. All he knew, he was a particle physicist, so he knew what happened because he saw the brightest light. He called it brighter than 1,000 suns.
So like a nuclear bomb exploding, basically.
Right in his face. So
in your eyeball, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and so he knew, he's like, well, that's that then, because he's a particle physicist. So he knew what was going on. So and what would happen, and I guess no one was there to witness.
To like the beam is invisible, so you wouldn't know it was there. Yeah.
No. So, and no one, I guess, saw this happen in the first place. It was just him working on it at the time. So he knew what happened. He's like, well, guess that's that then. So he didn't tell anybody and finished his job, finished his day's work, and then just went home.
Oh man, just take a painkiller and go to bed.
He's like, well, I guess this is it.
Have a big glass of vodka.
Well, as a physicist, so Victoria, you probably know this as a nurse, but most people die when they absorb 5 grays, also known as 500 rads of radiation, because part of the particle accelerator process, it does release a huge amount of radiation.
It's very high energy, yeah.
And it would kill you, right? So he didn't die right away. So he's like, well, might as well finish my day and go home. Because he's like, well, I'm going to die. And
this also just feels very classically Russian to me.
Yes.
Like,
doesn't it?
I'm just going to finish my day.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Life sucks and then you die. It's come for me.
Pretty. Yeah. So 5 is the radiation level of death, okay?
Okay.
He had been hit with this particle accelerator somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 grays.
Oh.
Now that's 200,000 to 300,000 rads.
Oh my God.
So he very much knew what was going on. He's like, I'm gonna die. Might as well go to bed. And I guess in the night, his face, because remember, he was hit with this through his skull.
Yeah.
And his face kept swelling.
Bet it did.
So he went to the doctors in the morning and then was taken to a clinic in Moscow, although everybody was like, you're not going to live, so we're just going to see what happens.
Yeah.
So they literally just watched him because they didn't expect him to survive the radiation.
Right.
Just like, well, no one's ever died from this. We're going to write papers about it.
Yeah,
let's see what
good
happens.
Case report there.
Uh-huh. Well, the doctors watched, and around the entry and exit wounds, his skin peeled off. And like it showed that there was a clean path right through his skin and his like skull and his brain. Like they could see the path that the accelerator beam went through. But he did not die.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, Anatoly is still alive to this day.
Wow.
Okay? He survived and lived to tell the tale, continued to be a particle physicist. We're not really sure what happened. He continued being a particle physicist. The brain tissue did burn away over those years, and so he became paralyzed on the left side. His hearing on the side of his head that got shot with the beam also went away, so he lost hearing there. He experienced seizures, some of them as bad as like a grand mal seizure, which I'm pretty sure has been renamed as not exactly a grand mal anymore, but he had
tonic-clonic seizures.
Yeah, so he had several tonic-clonic seizures. So those are some of the most severe like seizures that you can have. But overall, like, was still functional. He continued to work as a physicist. He completed his PhD.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He actually,
with part of his brain burned away.
Exactly. And like he couldn't tell anybody right for like a decade because it was the Soviet Union.
Sure, it was all secret.
It's like, well, we can't say anything because the beam that was shot through, the proton beam, it went through his occipital and temporal lobes of his brain and the left middle ear. So it went through his brain, went down through his ear and out the left-hand side of his nose. Yeah.
It's such a wild story.
Like, it's an absolutely wild story. He continued to go and study physics. He had tinnitus, which is a ringing of the ear on the side that he lost hearing in, so that kind of sucks.
I would imagine it would.
But it was mostly like just his face that was paralyzed. He was pretty able to function fairly well. A lot of folks have sensationalized this a little bit because people are like, oh my God, the side that got touched or like that went through this proton beam, it didn't age that whole time. The right side of his face looks so much older.
What?
It's because he can't move the muscles.
It's because he can't move the muscles, so he can't develop wrinkles or anything like that on that side of his face.
It's so like Botox.
Exactly. So his like right side of the face is moving and the left side of his face is not.
Oh, interesting.
So people are very much saying like, oh my God, he doesn't age on that side of his face. And he just isn't moving.
I mean, they're kind of not wrong. You could do that too if you never had any facial expressions. So,
yeah.
Some people have made that choice.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, so he pretty much continued to he pretty much continued to study and go forward with his time. He went to the radiation clinic twice a year. I say this, he's 83. He's still thriving and alive.
Oh, man.
He married and had a child as well. So, like, this
Good
man
for
is
him.
doing great. Good for him. But what a wild accident to happen. And I needed to talk about it because I had been sent this several times. And it was just one of those accidents. It's not necessarily like, it's not nature, but it's also like, what, just how? Like, the amount of radiation that he endured in that period of time, like, he absolutely should have died. So it goes to show that sometimes your body, humans, nature can do a lot more than we think that they can and withstand more than we have assumed that they can. It's
short duration to a small area, to very precise area is very different than a lower dose to your whole body for a longer period of time is probably way more deadly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's actually able to talk about this now, partially because the Soviet Union is no longer a thing. It's now just Russia. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool papers and things about Anatoly. So my sources this week were Wikipedia. There was a IFL Science article about it by James Felton. It was called "The Man Who Put His Head Inside a Particle Accelerator While It Was Switched On," which is a little sensationalized. But also there was some really that is what he did.
Just probably not on purpose.
No, he thought it was off. It was a whole No, so there was a paper. It was called "Physics and Biology of Ultra High Dose Rate Radiotherapy: A Topical Review," and then there was also a really cool paper, 3D digital analysis of the Anatoly Burgovsky case, 1978, and that was published this past August. And it gave a lot of context and the after effects and all of that, and it did a 3D analysis of where it went and the long-term impact and everything. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
So that is what I have for you all today. Absolutely wild. Maybe don't do that.
Don't do that. Yep.
Don't
Good,
do that.
solid advice. Ending the show on some solid advice. Don't stick your head in an active particle accelerator.
Yeah, don't do that. Bad times. But yeah, so I believe that brings us to the end of the show.
Yep. Gotta go.
Thanks everyone for listening. See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach us by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can check out our website, strangebynaturepodcast.com, and you can support the show and get ad-free episodes at patreon.com/strangebynature. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.